Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart have been entertaining our screens for years, starting off as the on-screen lovers Bella and Edward, and soon becoming one of Hollywood's most loved couples. But their story didn't have such a happy ending when Kristen Stewart last year shocked us by cheating on our Pats with married film director Rupert Sanders. So what was she thinking, and how would her actions affect Rob? Well, joining me now is Joe Hemmings, relationship expert to the stars. Joe, firstly, can we just start off with the question, why would Kristen cheat on Rob?
She met Rob when she was very young. I think she was only about 18, and they've been pretty much together all that time. And I think that sort of sowing your wild oats, if you like, that thing she suddenly felt they've been together for so long that perhaps, you know, they're going through a bad patch and the grass looks greener on the other side, really.
And do you think there's any sort of reason why she went for this older married director?
It may be that she felt insecure in her relationship with Rob, that actually she didn't know if he was going to fully commit, and the temptation to go with someone older who can provide you with that level of security is quite strong, particularly in someone who's been with someone for so long since such a young age.
And in your sort of experience, is it a sort of personality type, the person who does cheat? Is it a thing that can happen again? Will we see this sort of time and time again happening with her?
I hope not. I mean, cheaters tend to fall into two categories. One is a kind of a one-off pressure, temptation, and the others, usually you see it in celebrity relationships when one is more vulnerable than the other, when one isn't successful as the partner or their partner's overtaken them, and it's a kind of way of sort of gaining their place back in the sort of pecking order, if you like.
And do you think it was a coincidence that we sort of got together for the Twilight promotional tour? Was that just a sort of technique that I guess both of them did to make it easier on themselves?
I imagine getting together on that tour was very much about professional pressure. I mean, agents saying to them, look, you know, there's a lot of money riding on this, we need you to look together. I think that was probably manufactured, so they didn't lose money and they didn't lose face.
And it must have been incredibly hard for Rob, like the public humiliation and then sort of having to go through all that. Do you think he's still sort of having to process that? Will that take, in any sort of circumstances, does that take a long time to get over?
It does. I mean, because at the end of the day, it's a real lack of trust that he'll have in her, and that will never go. And it's a case of whether he can forgive, but people very rarely forget. But, you know, he's an actor, so to put on a show for his public is what he does.
We assume that they're 100% over. Do you think we'll ever see them get back together again, or do you think sort of this has now ended with Twilight and our Pats and Casey are sort of just no more?
You know, I think we all want to see them get back together. It's that kind of happy ending of a young fairy tale romance. I suspect they've probably grown apart, and I suspect we won't see it, but you know, there's obviously a very strong bond between them. It may be when they've both gone off and cleared in their heads what's been troubling them that they'll come back together in another year or so, but I think the break for now is probably going to do them both good.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for shining a little bit of light on the very confusing relationship that is our Pats and KSG. Make sure you keep it here at entertainmentwise.com for all your celebrity gossip.